Hey everybody, NegroVMX here, and welcome back with another 10 matches from Pokemon Showdown. And these are all more recent. Now been on a bit of a losing streak, so maybe this is last video for a little while. We'll see if I can just make a comeback here. I was on a big winning streak. That's where there were so many matches, and now I'm not doing as good. But that happens. It comes and goes. This first match is versus Karastan XS. Let's play it. So I start off with a Heracross lead, and they start off with Roserade. So I'm thinking, okay, that's really interesting. I'm going to Mega Evolve right away and see what they do. They go ahead and go for Spikes. I kind of figured they might, set up, because there's not much else they can do to Heracross, especially Mega Heracross, and the Pin Missile with Skill Link is easily going to take down the Roserade. So I only got one Spike out there, which is pretty good. So Pidgeot comes out. I'm scared of this thing. It's a Mega Pidgeot. Mega Pidgeot, incredibly hard to get around because of the no guard ability. Hurricane is one of the best fighting type moves there is. In terms of just raw damage, but then it has that low accuracy, but with no guard. So Claydol manages to get an Ice Beam off here, but I just know I'm not going to live another Hurricane, and I just let him go down because what can I do? It just sucks. Mega Pidgeot is really terrible. So I send in Crobat, thinking maybe I can kill it with Brave Bird, and I just missed with 7% health. They went for Heat Wave. I'm thinking I absolutely have to just kill it here, otherwise I'm in real trouble here. Then they swapped over to Magnezone, so I'm like, okay, they're definitely trying to save the Mega Pidgeot, maybe make it into a Revenge Killer or something. Magnezone takes that really well. Not a whole lot I can do to Magnezone, so I just decided to Roost and get some health back, because I figured, well, here comes an Electric type move, and it's not going to kill if I'm not Flying type, because Roost takes away the Flying type for that turn. They decided to Volt Switch into a Alolan form Persian, so I get a Toxic off, on Garfield here. That's cool. They went for Hypnosis. They're going to put Crobat to sleep. I'm wondering why they did that. Maybe they don't have anything else for it. Maybe they wanted me to swap. So I bring Heracross in, and they're going to swap back to the the Mega Pidgeot. I'm like, nope, we're going back to Crobat. If you're going to kill something, it's going to be Crobat. Unfortunately, I really should have just attacked with the Heracross. I would have killed it there. Swapping like that gave me the chance to give them the chance to use Roost. So they're gonna get the Hurricane off. It's just not enough to kill, but I'm still sleeping. I'm like, please wake up, please wake up, please wake up, please wake up, please wake up. He doesn't wake up and goes down. She doesn't wake up and goes down to the Hurricane. So I bring Entei in. I'm really just racking my brain about how I'm gonna get rid of this Pidgeot. I just try to go for an Extreme Speed. It does okay, but it's gonna take another one, and I'm thinking, all right, well, let's see if they swap. They do swap, and they swap back into the Alolan Persian. So I believe I was locked into Extreme Speed here, or maybe I was just trying to kill it off. I forget what the exact situation was here. I was locked in, that's why I swapped. So I bring the Mega Heracross out, and I'm wondering, are they going to bring the Mega Pidgeot back? But they actually went for Power Gem there. Well, now we'll see if they swap. And they swap, but they didn't swap to Pidgeot, they swapped to Magnezone, which is interesting. I had gone for Close Combat. That's easily going to body the Magnezone, so it would have killed the Persian just in case they stayed in. So the Pidgeot comes back out. This thing is a real thorn in my side. This time I'm going to swap out of Yveltal. So I'm like, okay, Yveltal's really good. They're going to go for Roost, obviously. I figured they would go for Roost as soon as they swapped in. He was for Heat Wave, gets a critical because of course he does. I go for Hurricane. Remember, I don't have no guard on Yveltal, so it's a 70% chance to hit. It's not 100% like with Pidgeot. So they're going to swap over to Aromatisse, which is just as well because I missed with that Hurricane. So they're really they're saving the Pidgeot. They really are. They went for Sucker Punch there. I figured they might have Sucker Punch on this. I was going for Wish. So that's what that's all about. So I went for Hurricane again. I get a little bit of damage, and I confused it. They get Moonblast off. That's going to really just do a lot of damage, and I get a special attack drop. So... oh, wait, they went for Wish. I'm sorry, I had a headache. So I went for Sucker Punch there. It does nothing. They go for Moonblast. That's going to take Yveltal down. So now I have two Pokemon to worry about. I really got to worry about the Mega Pidgeot and the Aromatisse. So I bring in the Mega Heracross again. I go for Close Combat. It's not going to do it. And then they snap out of confusion because, of course, they did. They get the Moonblast off. And that's obviously going to take the Heracross down. I don't really have anything to take this this Aromatisse down. So I bring in Entei, and I go for Sacred Fire, figuring at the very least I might burn it, but actually I killed it there, so that was pretty good. So then Persian comes in and goes for the Power Gem. Revenge kills my Entei, so I'm like, shit. So I have one more Pokemon left, and they have three. This is just a terrible, terrible situation. But I have the mighty Ribombee, the amazing Ribombee. So Bug Buzz is easily going to take the Persian out. Now this is a Life Orb Ribombee, so, we got to make things quick. Pidgeot comes out. I'm like, well, let's see what I can do with Moonblast. Moonblast takes it out. Ribombee's very quick. Pidgeot could not outspeed the Ribombee. They have one more Pokemon out, and it's Frostlass. I'm like, oh god, it's coming all down to this. I went for Moonblast. It takes off more than half their health. They go for Ice Beam. It doesn't kill. This next hit has to kill. But then they had leftovers. So then I get a higher damage roll and actually won there. Moonblast did 52.8% damage the first time. I needed 53.3 to kill, and that's I got that or possibly higher. So what a comeback with the amazing Ribombee. Just don't talk shit about Ribombee. I might call the video that. I don't know. Let's see. So this next battle is Top Cook. I don't know what the hell that is. So Calissa Pod is my lead here, and they start off with Xurkitree. So I'm like, okay, don't want to stay in for this. I immediately swap over to Landorus, and you're thinking, why would you swap over to a flying type? Well, he's flying ground type, so that actually worked out really well. I figured they would go for some sort of electric move. So now they swap over to Kingler. I had gone for Psychic. The Kingler takes that very badly. I figured there's a liquidation or something coming, but I thought I might be able to kill it off with Knockoff. I didn't kill it off, and it does go for liquidation for the kill, but I got him down to red health, and I did get rid of the Life Orb, so there is that. So I bring in Zipstrika, and I just went for Hidden Power. I believe this was actually Hidden Power Grass. I'm not quite sure on that, and then they bring in Swalot. So I'm like, okay, well, here comes like Toxic or something. But let's see how good I can do with Thunderbolt. Maybe I'll get a Paralyze. Actually, it has Earthquake, so I'm like, oh, crap, that's not good. At least I tanked it. So I swapped over to Goodra because it was my best bet of taking an Earthquake. I didn't, don't really have any Earthquake-friendly Pokemon. So I have Earthquake, and that's going to do a lot more to Swalot. They have Ice Beam. The thing is, this Goodra is just really bulky because it has an Assault Vest. So I'm going to use Dragon Pulse to finish him off. I switched up the move there just in case they swapped. So Azumarill comes in. Lucky thing I didn't swap in Azumarill there before. So I swap over to Zipstrika. They went for Play Rough. Unfortunately, that is enough to take down Zipstrika, so he's going to go down. I was hoping to be able to tank that hit. So I bring in Seismitoad. I'm wondering if they know what's up. Sludge Wave does really good. It's more than half the health. I don't get the Poison that I was looking for. They go for Play Rough. That's also more than half my health. They're in a Loom. I'm like, did you not just see me do Sludge Wave? Alright, so that's really going to body the hell out of the Breloom. Takes him down to 17% health. He goes for Mach Punch. I lived it. Can you believe I lived it? So obviously Sludge Wave is going to take Breloom down. I'm going to go down to my Life Orb, but I feel really good about what Seismitoad did there. He took down the Breloom very easily, and he did a lot of damage to the Azumarill. So I put Calissa Pod back in. They've already seen this. They bring Xurkitree back in. Like, okay, no, we'll go back over to Goodra. So they're going to try Thunderbolt. I mean, aside from the fact that I have the resistance, I'm also on Assault Vest. Unfortunately, they paralyze me, but it looks like that's all they have. So I went for Earthquake. It's a pretty bulky Xurkitree, so it does survive that, unfortunately. Xurkitree has above average defenses for an electric type. So I get fully paralyzed there. They're chipping me away with Thunderbolt, but I know that, I'm on my last leg here, so I get off the Earthquake, and that's going to take on Xurkitree. So I'm like, okay, Goodra's pretty much on, done. We'll just let him get sacked off. So Azumarill comes in and does the Z move, Z Belly Drum, which is crazy. And I went for Thunderbolt, and it's just like, wow, he's down to 2% health. So he's fully maxed out on attack. He goes for Play Rough. That's easily going to take the Goodra down. I bring in Hitmontop. That's going to intimidate him down to 5 stages of health. I went for Sucker Punch, and that's going to take the Azumarill down. Who knows what move it was going to do? Probably Play Rough or something. So their last Pokemon is Heatmore. I'm like, I can handle this. Let's throw on Toxic, and we'll just do as much as I can with Hitmontop. So, because easily Calissa Pod can take it out, but we want to be sure because Heatmore is pretty dangerous. So I missed the fire. Oh, they missed the Fire Blast. I went for Stone Edge. I'm sorry, Stone Miss. But Stone Miss actually hits. They went for Fire Blast the second time around. That is going to hit me. But they're going down in the next turn no matter what, and they decided they don't need to see any of that, and they rage quit. So this next battle is against Jeffrey Biggington. Interesting name there, man. Alright, so I have a Dusk Noir lead. I have Dusknoir. They have Starmie. I can see it has a life orb. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. They swapped out to Diggersby, so I'm like, okay. I had gone for Shadow Sneak. Maybe they figured, oh well, he's going to use a Ghost type move. Let's swap over to Diggersby because it is a part normal type. They went for Agility. I have Ice Punch on this, and that's going to not only do a lot of damage, but I get the freeze. And considering he was 2x speed, that's really good. That's freeze hacks to the max right there. So I go for another Ice Punch. It's not quite going to kill, but they're frozen. I'm not too worried about it. I have breathing room here, and they don't seem interested in swapping right now. So I went for Earthquake just in case they did swap there. That's going to take them out. So Donphan comes in. I'm like, well, did you not see me use Ice Punch? They have Knockoff. It's going to get rid of my leftovers and take off exactly half my health. I went for Ice Punch. It doesn't do a lot of damage, so I'm like, oh crap, this sucks. My leftovers are gone. I know the next Earthquake's going to kill me, but they get a way lower damage roll, only 37%. I used Pain Split just in case I did survive, or they used a different move to get some health back and damage them. So suddenly their Earthquakes are not doing as well. I get the Ice Punch off. It's not enough to kill, but can you believe 2 freeze hexes in one game? What is life anywhere? So now this Mr. Snuffleupagus here is frozen. He can't do anything, and he's going to go down to the next Ice Punch. So that's just crazy. Can you believe it? So they sent an Arbok. Arbok has Earthquake. It usually runs Earthquake. That's going to take the Dusknoir down, but wow, what a great job he did. So my next Pokemon that I send out is Sharpedo. Sharpedo is really frightening. I'm going to Mega Evolve it and go for Waterfall, hoping to get a little flinch hacks here. It's a lot of damage. They went for Coil. It's going to raise their attack, their defense, and their accuracy, but I'm like, well, too bad, so sad. Waterfall, and that was a crit that didn't matter, and the Arbok goes down. So in comes Emolga. I'm thinking, okay, this is interesting. Let's tank the electric type move that's going to come out with Groudon, but they actually decided to stay behind the substitute, which is like, okay, interesting choice there. Instead of going for an attack, maybe you knew I'd swap. So they're actually going for the air/flinch hacks. They do get the first flinch, so I'm like, all right, I respect that. I understand. I've done it many times. I can't be mad at it. They get the second air slash off. It's taking me down to less than half health. I get the Dragon Claw. That's at least going to get rid of the substitute, but I know my Groudon, he's not going to last in these conditions, so I have to make something happen. And then they swapped to Cofagrigus. I'm kind of wondering why they did that. I had gone for Stone Edge. It does get a crit. It easily would have killed Emolga, but Cofagrigus kind of takes it like a tramp. Cofagrigus is just really cool. So I switched over to Earthquake because it's just higher damage. It does a little better. They went for Nasty Plot. I'm outspeeding. I don't know what you're doing, man. I don't know what you're doing, but you know you're going down to the next Earthquake, right? But I actually decided to use Dragon Claw because I thought, well, they know I'm going to do Earthquake, and they're going to swap to Emolga. They didn't, so that's going to get rid of my ability, and they get a Pain Split off. So I'm like, what is this? This is the weirdest freaking situation that I'm in. I can't believe they didn't swap. So I'm like, okay, you're not going to swap. I'll just keep using Earthquake. So they got a Shadow Ball off. It's going to kill my Ground. And I thought, well, it's smart not to use Earthquake, because they're obviously going to go back into Emolga. So I bring the Mega Sharpedo back out, and I go for the Crunch. That's easily going to kill Cofagrigus. It's going to get rid of my Strong Jaw. In case you're wondering what Mummy does, Mummy it does nothing except spread itself. It basically, if you have Mummy and you get attacked by any attack that makes contact, that Pokemon's ability will become Mummy, which just does that. So basically just nullifies whatever ability you have. So it's Emolga versus Sharpedo, and they're using Charge Beam, which is like, don't you have a better move? Don't you have Volt Switch or Thunderbolt? I'm like, what is going on here? So look at that. Sharpedo beat Emolga. I never thought I'd see that. So their last Pokemon is the Starmie that they started out with, and I'm really not worried about this. They go for Ice Beam. That's going to take me down, but I mean, I have 3 more Pokemon, so I'm like, okay, let's see what we're going to do. So I send out for Alligator. So they went for Psyshock there. That's not going to do much. I can see that it's Life Orbed. I went for Crunch. That's obviously going to body star me. Just bop boop beep, he's done. So that's game. What a weird opponent right there. So this next one is versus Blackout Fox. Interesting name. So Toucannon lead, and I have Aggron. Kind of the only bad thing about Toucannon is how predictable it is. They went for Brick Break. I went for Toxic. I think this might be a Mega, but I decided not to Mega Evolve because I thought they might go for like a Beak Blast or something. So I swapped over. Since they were using Brick Break, which is like I said, 2 cannons predictable, but I didn't predict that, so that's interesting. So I decided to just go over to Starmie. Now they're going to set up the Beak Blast, but Thunderbolt's going to kill them. The way that Beak Blast works, it basically you take the hit and then you deal it back as a fire-type move, but it only works if you survive. So they swap the Fortress. I bring Aggron back out. They missed on the Toxic. Of course, it would not affect Aggron anyway, so I'm not sure what they were thinking with that. I Mega Evolve into Mega Aggron. I'm now fully Steel type. I had to get the Stealth Rocks off because I figured there's nothing that Fortress can really do to me. They went for Gyro Ball. That's nothing. I went for Heavy Slam. That doesn't do much either, but Mega Aggron... he doesn't have a lot of options here. I'm hoping they're going to swap, so they're just setting up spikes, and at this point, I got to get rid of this thing. So I decide to roar it out of there. Arcanine comes in, gets really hit really hard by the Stealth Rocks, goes for Flare Blitz. I really did not want to get Arcanine out, but of course I didn't know what they had, but at least now I know that they have an Arcanine. So it's interesting, it's obviously not Intimidate Arcanine, so that's interesting. I send in Grumpig. He's going to take the Flare Blitz. Unfortunately, he gets burned, which really sucks, but Grumpig doesn't have a lot of physical options. I really just sent him to use Toxic. The fact that Toxic is going to rack up, and this thing has a Life Orb. Arcanine is really dangerous, and he's using Flare Blitz. So Flare Blitz, of course, has Recoil, and then there's there's the Recoil. There's 3 things that are happening. There's the Recoil, there's the Toxic, and there's the Life Orb. So Arcanine goes down. I got a light screen up there. Fortress comes in. I tried Psychic. It's not a lot of damage, but it's more than what Mega Aggron was doing anyway. They get the last spike up. I'm like, okay. So we have to keep swapping to a minimum. No sense in swapping Grumping anyway. I went for Psychic. I realized it's probably going to take another 2. They went for Rapid Spin, so that sucks. The Stealth Rocks are gone. So all the hazards are on my side. And I don't think I have a Rapid Spinner. I get off another Psychic. Alright, I don't think I'm going to get off one more. They go for Gyro Ball. It doesn't do a lot, but it doesn't need to because I'm such low health, and I would have gotten down to burn anyway. So that's him done. So I bring out Porygon Z. I get Download, which raises my special attack. I go for Tri-Attack. That's very easily going to take out the Fortress, even though he resists it. No big deal. The only bad thing about Porygon Z is his defenses aren't the most amazing. That's why I kind of prefer Porygon 2, because you can throw an Eviolite on it. So Trevenant comes out. I have Shadow Ball, so that does a lot of damage. He got for Horn Leech, so he's going to get a little bit of health back and take my Porygon Z very well down, but there's no way you're going to take another Shadow Ball. And I doubt that they're going to swap into a normal type. I had that feeling they weren't going to. So I'm going to go down to my Life Orb here, but they sent in the Nidoking. I'm like, I can get off at least one attack. I decide to do Tri-Attack. I get the Paralyze. Tri-Attack has a 10% chance of doing either Paralyze, Freeze, or Burn, so that was really awesome. They had gone for Earth Power, so I sent in Starmie because I figure, well, I can just use Scald here to finish him off, and just kind of a revenge kill. So they have one more Pokemon. I have Starmie, and I have 2 more that they haven't even seen. Their last is Reuniclus. So I'm like, okay, well, obviously we're not going to use any Psychic-type moves. I go for Scald. It's a 3-hit KO. They go for Shadow Ball. That sucks, because Starmie's going to go down like a sack of rocks, and I really don't want this to be the big Reuniclus comeback. So I send in Blastoise. He also has Scald. I'm just like, well, maybe I'll get a burn. It's doing a little less damage than it was with Starmie, and I get hit really hard by the Psyshock. Thankfully, the 3rd Scald there is a critical hit, and that's able to take him down, and that's game. So there we go. Not bad. This next battle is versus Zaranok, which sounds like a Pokemon. They actually lead with Shedinja. You never want to lead with Shedinja. I lead with Espeon. I have Shadow Ball. That's going to take him down to his Focus Sash because, of course, I'm wondering, are they going to stay in? Obviously, they're going to stay in here because they can use Sword Stance. But are they going to stay in for another Shadow Ball? They actually did. They used Shadow Sneak. I just barely lived it. Espeon's got, no defenses. But then again, Shedinja doesn't really have attack. I killed the Shedinja. Espeon is going to go down to Life Orb. But, hey, not bad. I can't feel too bad about that. So I sent in Roserade, and they sent in Blaziken. I'm like, oh, it's probably a Mega. This sucks. So I sent in Rhyperior because I figure here comes a Fire-type move. Unfortunately, nah, I was right. So, no, because it could go for High Jump Kick. So they're getting Speed Boost, and I'm like, oh, God, if this thing has High Jump Kick, it better miss. Unfortunately, it doesn't miss, and I go down. So I don't have anything that can really deal with this Blaziken in a very quick manner. So I bring out Emolga. They went for Stone Edge, they miss. I'm like, God damn it, why couldn't you miss with High Jump Kick? So I get an Air Slash off. It does a lot of damage, but they're up 3 stages. on speed. Stone Miss misses again. I'm like, yes, they kill the Mega Blaziken with Emolga. That is just, best start to any battle 2018. So Turtonator comes in. I go for an Air Slash. I know I'm going to outspeed them. I also know they're probably going to have Shell Trap, but since I'm outspeeding them, there's not much they can do. So unfortunately, I don't get the flinch, and the Fire Blast does a lot of damage, but I'm like, I might as well stay in. I do another Air Slash. I don't get a flinch again. That sucks, and Emolga's going to go down, so I'm like, shit. So I send in Lycanroc, because I have an idea here. So I went for Drill Run. That's going to do a lot of damage there, so that's really good. They go for Earthquake. I figured they might have Earthquake, but Lycanroc can take at least one Earthquake, and the second Accelerock is going to take Turtonator down. I was actually hoping that they would try to go for shell trap, but they didn't. So they bring in Mightyena, and they went for Sucker Punch. I knew they were going to go for Sucker Punch, so I'm like, let me set up a Swords Dance because they're going to go for Sucker Punch. And they're probably going to go for it again, so let me set up a second Swords Dance. And I'm at 3x attack, and they're scared. They're like, So I figure they're not going to attack now. They're going to do something to set up, or they're going to do a status move, or they're going to swap. So I went for the Drill Run. Who knows what they did, but Mightyena goes down. So Mantine comes in. Accelerock is absolutely going to body him. This Lycanroc only has one more attack in him because of the Life Orb. Executor, Alolan form, comes in. I get a Drill Run off. Executor takes that. Executor has a lot of weaknesses, but Lycanroc could not actually take advantage of any of those. And it looks like they had gone for a knockoff. So I sent in Flygon. I went for Outrage. That's going to easily body the Alolan Executor. It is a Dragon type, so Bop Boop Beepy's done, and that's game. So there you go. So this next battle is versus Jacob CT25, who I believe is subscribed. So how you doing, Jacob? So Reshiram is my start, and he's got Simisear. Now, actually, let me pause this and actually tell you what's going on with this one. Wait, is this the right battle? Hold on a second, guys. I got to pause this. Okay, we're back. I just had to make sure this is the right battle. So I came across Jacob here randomly, and we played. I beat him, but then he was like, "Do you want to play again?" And I'm like, "Sure, yeah, let's play again." And then he beat me. He decided to do first to 3, so he beat me twice. I beat him twice. So it came down to this battle. Unfortunately, I didn't get to save any of those other battles because we were just going like really fast, and when you hit rematch, it closes the window. So when I went into my Firefox history to bring up the first 4 battles to show, because I wanted to show you guys the whole series, I couldn't. They were expired because I didn't save them right away. You only get like 15 minutes to save them. So unfortunately, I couldn't show you. So this is it. So he beat me twice. I beat him twice. This is the final battle. So really cool guy, Jacob, by the way. So I have a Reshiram lead, and he has Simisear. So I'm like thinking, he's going to swap, right? No, he doesn't swap. He does a nasty Plots. I'm like, that's interesting. Let's throw Toxic on you. I was actually thinking throw Toxic into whatever, electric type or fairy type that was going to... He goes for Focus Miss. It misses because, of course, it does. I went for Blue Flare. Just for damage. There's not much else I can do to Simisear, and I'm like going to let the Toxic do a lot of work there. He gets off the Focus Miss, and that takes off a good 79% of my health, but I had gone for Roost. My thought here is to just spam Roost and let the Toxic deal with it. Although he's doing more with Focus Blast than I'm getting back with Roost. The thing is, it's Focus Miss. It missed again. I get all my health back from Roost, and he goes down to Toxic. So Reshiram, great start here to this final battle here. So he sends in Granville. This guy's good, by the way, so I can't, just to be like, haha, I got you, So I swapped over to Empoleon. He went for Earthquake, which is unfortunate, but Empoleon's just bulky enough to take it. I go for Flash Cannon. That's the reason I brought Empoleon. And unfortunately, he's a Life Orb, and he did enough damage to take me down to just where I was only going to get one attack off. So I bring Reshiram back in. And now he's got Aerodactyl, and I'm like, oh my god, please don't be Mega Aerodactyl with Air Slash. It's just going to flinch me to death. But it's not. He goes for Stone Edge. Stone Miss. It doesn't quite get it. I went for Blue Flare just to try to burn it. But I don't get the burn, unfortunately. Blue Flare has it's not as good as Sacred Fire, but it's pretty good for burning. So he goes for Earthquake. That's going to easily take Reshiram down. So it's 4v4 here, so I send in Meloetta. So Meloetta, I guess, scares him. He goes into Kyurem Black form. So I had gone for a knockoff because I was just like, let me get rid of whatever item the Aerodactyl has. The Kyurem Black has leftovers. So I went for Close Combat. That does really good. Of course, I get a defense and special defense drop. But he went for Ice Beam, and that's just not going to do it. I'm thinking if he went for Ice Beam, he doesn't have anything on the Cure in Black that can handle Meloetta, so the second close combat's going to take him down. Of course, my defense and special defense are now at half, and he sends in Staraptor, which intimidates me, takes my attack down. He's going to U-turn out of there. Meloetta goes down like nothing. Staraptor's really scary, and it's not like I had Stealth Rocks out. So he's going to go into the Aerodactyl, which is going to exert its pressure on nobody, because there's nobody on the field there. I have Zekrom, so I send Zekrom in. And I just love how each battle we did was just to the wire. You know, we're so evenly matched. So he went for Stone Edge. I tanked that pretty well. I went for Bolt Strike. That's going to easily take the Aerodactyl down. And I'm like, okay, well, he's not going to send in Staraptor. But then he did. I think he just wanted to intimidate me and get the double edge off, because Staraptor is very fast. But the Bolt Strike's easily going to take the Staraptor down. And I was, he's got one more Pokemon, but I'm like, what is it? It's Heracross. I got this, you guys. I got this. So, of course, it's a Mega Heracross, and I went for Bolt Strike. I know Zekrom's going to go down. He's pretty gimped. Pin Missile, so I'm like, okay, here's the thing. We know it has Pin Missile, but let's send in Volcarona. Volcarona is going to use Fiery Dance, and that's easily going to take him down. So I'm like, whew. I was like, because like I said, it was going back and forth. I beat him the first match. He beat me the second match. It kept going back and forth. And then, every single one was so close. And I talked to him for a little while. Very cool guy. So, hey, Jacob, how you doing? This next battle is versus Philion. So I sent in Parasect. I'm like, shit, I got Parasect Star. Yeah, Mage Arnis. That's actually not the worst matchup. He goes for Shift Gear to raise speed and attack. And I went for Spore. So I put this thing to sleep, which is really good because it has double speed and its attack is up. So I decided to get Leech Seed off, because this is a slow killing Parasect. It's got Leech Seed, it's got Spore, it's got Substitute. You see where it's going? And it's got Leftovers on. So I'm going to slowly get health back from the Leftovers. I'm going to get health back from the Leech Seed. And just, slowly work on taking this Mage Arna down. So I also have Seed Bomb. Of course, Mage Arna is going to resist that, but that's the only really attacking move that I have, He's already seen my whole set, really. So the Mage Arna then wakes up there and gets off a Flash Cannon, which is going to fade my Substitute. But I decided to go for another Seed Bomb. I could have hid behind a sub, but he would have just kept taking them down. And I'm not doing enough damage with the Leech Seed and all that to do anything. So I decide to put him back to sleep. And Spore actually works the second time, so that's really good. Sometimes it misses if you continually use it. Now he's going to swap over to Magcargo. So I'm thinking, all right, well, let's see what it's planning on doing. Like what fire move it's going to body me with. And maybe I can get a little Leech Seed. Unfortunately, I miss with the Leech Seed. They go for Shell Smash, so I'm like, okay, well, whatever they're going to do is going to kill the sub, but at least I'll have a second chance to do Leech Seed, right? So it's Fire Blast. Of course, there's no way a Parasect can survive a Fire Blast. There's absolutely no way. And that time, the Leech Seed does seed it, so that's great. So now, obviously, there's no reason for Parasect to stick around. I send in Haxorus. So they went for Fire Blast. It actually does a lot of damage. It's Haxorus resists that, but that was a critical, and he doesn't have the best special defense. The second Fire Blast is going to kill the Haxorus, so I'm just like, God damn, I'm getting bodied by Magcargo. What is life? So I sent in the Stoutland that's going to intimidate him, take his attack down to 1 stage up instead of 2 stage up. I went for Superpower. It's not enough, and I'm like, shit, here I go. But Stoutland actually takes the Fire Blast, which is great, and the Leech Seed is going to take him down to 2%. I probably didn't need Superpower to take him down there, but you might as well, just in case he swapped, and I think I was actually Scarfed or something anyway. So they send in Mage Arna. The Mage Arna is still asleep. I actually am Choice Scarfed into Superpower. It doesn't do a lot of damage, and my defense and attack are at 4/10 now of base. So I'm just going to continue doing this because I have no other options, and this thing's sleeping. So finally it wakes up, and they're going to go for Aura Sphere. Duh, there's no way, even at full health, that it would survive that with its defense that low. So it's really interesting. So Volcarona comes in, and I get off the Fire Blast. That's going to take down the Mage Arna. So it's 2v2 now, but I'm not feeling amazing about this because he's, revealed more of my team than I would have liked. So he sends in Lapras. I'm like, no way, we're going over to Parasect because he's going to use Hydro Pump. So Parasect has the Dry Skin ability that heals him to full, and now I'm like, well, here comes an Ice-type move, right? So let's swap over to Regice. The Regice takes the Ice Beam, like it doesn't even matter. That's just a mosquito bite to him, and he goes for Thunderbolt. It's not going to do anything, but it does paralyze me. I'm not worried about it. Regice is already slow. I had gone for Thunder Wave anyway, and that paralyzes the Lapras. But it doesn't really matter. So then in comes Among Us, and I'm thinking, well, what does this thing have? I had gone for Focus Miss against the Lapras. It actually hits, but it unfortunately hits the Among Us, who of course resists that, so whatever. So he's going for Sludge Bomb. It doesn't do a lot of damage, and obviously I can't be poisoned. I start going for Ice Beam, because it's like, well, Among Us is not going to want to stay in for Ice Beam, right? He stays in. Now he tried Foul Play. He's just trying all his moves, seeing if anything can damage this Regice. He goes down to the second Ice Beam, so bop boop beep, he's done. So I'm like, hey, Regice is paralyzed, but he's got really good health. He's got the leftovers. Here comes Altaria. It Mega Evolves. So now, here's the thing. I know it's going to take more than one Ice Beam to take this down. One Ice Beam would kill an Altaria outright, because it's double weak to Ice. It's Flying type and it's Dragon type. But Mega Altaria is also... It's Dragon and Fairy. So anyway, they go for Draco Meteor. The second Ice Beam is going to take him down. I'm at half health here, a little less than half health, but look at all the work this Regice has put in. So, I mean, holy shit. I wasn't feeling great about it. And then in comes Shaman, another Pokemon that's weak to Ice. So they're going to try and Para-Flinch me. So I get flinched there. So I'm like, okay. But it's doing so little damage. I'm getting almost all of it back with leftovers, and they don't seem to have anything that could knock off my leftovers. So then I get flinched twice. I'm like, Para-Flinch is fun. Para-Flinch is fun. There goes a third Air Slash. I get off the Ice Beam. It's a 2-hit kill there, so, whatever. Even with the leftovers, it's a 2-hit kill. So then they go for Psychic. I don't know why they didn't go for Air Slash. The second Ice Beam is going to take them. I think they might have thought that I would swap, but why would I? Regice is a beast here. I've never had so much fun with Regice before, so their last Pokemon is the Lapras. He goes for Hydro Pump. It does a little more damage than it was. I don't like, why didn't you go for Hydro Pump before? So Focus Miss is going to take off half his health, but not quite half, and then he gets a little back from leftovers. So I'm like, well, I could probably take another Hydro Pump, but then they get a critical, so Regice finally goes down. But I have 3 options against Lapras. So I sent Volcarona, figuring I can get a Giga Drain off. He'll probably kill me with Hydro Pump, but at least I can get a Giga Drain off. So he misses with Hydro Pump. I'm like, oh, sweet, dope. Let's do Giga Drain again and take him out. There's no way he can take another Giga Drain, and that is game. Just holy shit on that one. So that one took a little while to load. So this next one's versus Afro Boy 126. They start off with Pelipper, just a scary fucking Pokemon. I started with Mandibuzz. So I'm like, okay, let's see what I could do. Let's knock off probably leftovers. And yes, it is leftovers. They went for Toxic, because of course they did, Pelipper. And I'm like, this is probably a scummy roost set. I went for Toxic, because I'm like, they can keep roosting and roosting and roosting, but eventually the Toxic will kill them. They're going for Skull. Now, I think I have Roost too, but they got Toxic off first, so there's no way I'm going to outlast this. I go for Brave Bird. It does pretty good damage. They went for Roost, so I'm like, okay, here we go with the roosting. And I could Roost too, and I could get my health back and this and that. But I'm going to go down before they do, but at least I know that it'll be a pretty easy revenge kill after the Mandibuzz goes down. So they go for Skull there. I'm like, whatever. We're both starting to lose a lot of health. The Toxic is really racking up. I go for Brave Bird thinking maybe I'll get a critical or something. No, they go down to 13% health, and then they roosted again. So, there you go. So the rain stopped, but another good reason to stall out a Pelipper, because now it's not raining. So they can't swap over to Swift Swimmer or something and really just body you. So I sent in Pheromosa. Could you believe they live the Ice Beam and then they completely body me with Skull? They go down to 1% health. I mean, they're gonna die to Toxic, so it was pretty much a one-shot kill, but they got an attack off. And then Darmanitan comes in, Nope McNoface. I'm like, no, we're getting out of here. I'm gonna U-turn. Maybe Pheromosa's gonna revenge kill something later. I send out Pangoro. And they went for Earthquake. I take it pretty well. They went for Superpower. I'm like, crap. I was hoping to outspeed it. But their attack and their defense goes down at least. So, Pangoro, well, he did die in vain, but whatever. So I sent in Togedemaru. They sent in Dragalja. So that's really interesting. I had gone for Zing Zap just to try and do something there. Dragalja takes that pretty well. And then I swap over to Skarmory. So they've seen almost my entire team. Focus misses, thankfully there. And I'm going to get Stealth Rocks off. So They go for Focus Miss again. It misses. I'm like, this is dope. Focus Miss would only be a neutral damage against Skarmory anyway. Get off the Brave Bird. It does pretty good damage. Another Focus Miss. 3 in a row. Now I actually kind of feel bad for Afro Boy here. That's some hacks right there. So the next Brave Bird, it is a critical. I don't think it was necessary. It was definitely not necessary. So that's going to take down Dragalge pretty easily there. So, Skarmory's a beast. You can't really fuck with Skarmory. So Snorlax comes in. Unfortunately, Snorlax, I don't have much. And they have Fire Punch, and that's taking off a good chunk of health. I went for Whirlwind because I'm like, get out of here, Snorlax. I don't want to deal with you. Darmanitan comes back in, which is good because he gets hit by the Stealth Rocks. He went for Flare Blitz. That's easily going to take the Skarmory down, but now he's down to 21% health from the recoil, so I feel like, okay, I told you I would bring out Pheromosa to revenge kill something, didn't I? I use High Jump Kick. Thank fuck I didn't miss, although I was only at 100% anyway. 1% anyway, so I get a speed boost, in comes Snorlax. I'm like, did you not just see me do High Jump Kick? So I get the second High Jump Kick off, and Snorlax goes down, and I get another Beast Boost. I'm like, holy crap. I'm doing really good with this Pheromosa that has, 1% health. So here comes Quillfish. Quillfish is a physical wall, so I just had to U-turn out of here. Like I said, once I could probably use it for something if I need to. And I send in Togedemaru. They went for Liquidation. So they take some damage from the Iron Barbs, which is just great. They're going to get some back with the Black Sludge, but no big deal. I went for Zing Zap. That's easily going to take down the Quillfish. Bapu Beepy's done. So Beware is their last Pokemon. Beware is freaking scary, but I feel like I can just take this guy down, no problem. So I know he's going to take down the Togedemaru, but I want a clean swap because obviously I'm going to bring in the MVP here, Pheromosa at 1% health, who's going to do High Jump Kick and take down the Beware. Can you believe that a Pheromosa at 1% health killed 3 Pokemon with High Jump Kick? Just amazing. So that's game. So this next one's versus Tygas 22053. So I had a Delcatty lead here, and they have Hoopa. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. So I went for Sucker Punch because I know they're just going to attack me, probably with Focus Miss, which they did. That's going to take me down, but I did a lot with that Sucker Punch. I don't feel too bad about the Delcatty there. He did his job. So I bring in Klefki just to, because it's faster and I can get off a Foul Play and Revenge Kill it real fast, which is good because Focus Blast would have really hurt Klefki. So then they bring in Ferrothorn, and I'm like, all right, let's set up Reflect, let's set up, they start setting up Stealth Rocks. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Let's set up Light Screen because that's what Klefki's good for. So they're going for Gyro Ball. So it's obvious they don't really have anything good to hit me with. I went for Play Rough. That's nothing. And they have Iron Barbs. This just kind of sucks. They go for Spikes. So I'm like, oh, we're getting the full shit. The full shit's coming out. So I'm like, I better swap while I still can. So I send out Rotom Frost here. They're going to go for Spikes. Now, obviously, Ice is neutral damage against Ferrothorn. But I have Will-O-Wisp, which is what I was going for. I just wanted to burn it. So they went for Gyro Ball there. That does nothing. Rotom's going to take that pretty good anyway. And then I also have the Reflect Up. So I'm going for Blizzard just because it's some damage and it might hit. It does hit there. It does pretty good damage. They're sticking with Gyro Ball. I'm just wondering why they don't throw out one more Spike while they still can. They go for Protect there. So I'm like, well, what are you stalling out? You're just going to lose health to burn. I'm not losing health. I'm actually gaining it from leftovers. So I think maybe they were hoping that I would run out of Blizzards or something. So the next Blizzard's going to critical, and that's going to take down the Ferrothorn. So I'm like, hey, not bad. I was surprised they didn't go for another Spike there. So they sent out Arbok. I'm like, okay, it's interesting. Let's just see what Blizzard can do. It's really, really well there. Oh god, I gotta end this really soon. So they went for Coil because that's what Arbok does. I go for Blizzard. I missed, which, I hit so many times in a row that it's no big deal that I missed there. So Rotom's going to go down there with the Gunk Shot. So I sent in Celebi, figured maybe I can get something done here. Maybe I can get a Psychic off or a Psychic move. They went for Sucker Punch, thankfully. I survived it on 4% health. I actually went for Leaf Storm because I thought, well, what if they swap into a Dark type? So that's going to take them down pretty easily there. So hold on one second. I don't know if you guys can hear all the alerts. I gotta pause this first. All the alerts from Discord. I gotta pause it. Pause. Okay, sorry about that. So let's finish this. So they get off the Ice Beam. They have Kyurem, and that's going to easily kill Celebi, but I don't feel bad about it. I'm in a really bad position with these entry hazards. So I sent Klefki back in just because I know that they're going to go for Ice Beam again. There's no way they're not going to not do it. So I went for Play Rough. It does okay. Kyurem's pretty bulky. The second Ice Beam, is going to be enough to take down Klefki. So much shit. I have 2 more Pokemon. I have Mean Shao. Mean Shao can easily take out Kyurem, but like, look how much health I lost just from entry hazards. So High Jump Kick, thankfully it hits. Can you imagine if it didn't? And then of course I'm losing health to my Life Orb, so I got to make this fast. So Claydol comes in, and I'm thinking, okay, I misclicked. I went for Fake Out. They went for Toxic. I'm like, shit, that's not at all what I was going for. I did not want Toxic. I wanted to get out of here. So I'm U-turning, because Mean Shao versus Claydol, not a good matchup. I have Darkrai. Darkrai is my last Pokemon. Darkrai can easily take down the Claydol. He takes the Earthquake pretty well there, but I'm like, oh shit, here we go. So I got to get off with Dark Pulse. That's going to easily kill the Claydol, right? That's what I was thinking. But then it lived on 1% health, and it takes me down with Earthquake, so all I have left is Mean Shao, who's now going to get bodied by the entry hazards. I'm like, what the hell is this? And he's Toxic Poison, and he has a Life Orb. So I went for Fake Out there. At that time, I actually meant to hit Fake Out. That's going to kill the Claydol. I'm like, whatever this last Pokemon is, it needs to be something that's like weak to fighting, because otherwise I'm in a lot of trouble. It's Guzzlord. So I went for High Jump Kick just to see what damage I can do. Babu Beebe's done. I can't believe that happened. I thought it would survive it. I'm like, okay, it's weak to poison, but it's gonna survive it, or I'm gonna miss and die to recoil. So that's just crazy. So this is the last battle. It's versus Armadillo 89, and they have a Hitmonchan lead. And I'm starting out with Aquanid, not a Pokemon that I get on this very often, so they're going to go for the Drain Punch. Maybe they thought I would swap? I don't know what that's all about. I want to set up Sticky Webs, actually. Sticky Webs are really fun. That makes things very annoying unless somebody has Rapid Spin. So now they're going into Stack Attacker, who's already slow. He gets hit by the Sticky Webs. I'm thinking this thing's definitely going to want to use the Trick Room, right? Guess what? It doesn't use Trick Room, so I just start going for Liquidation, because it's a really good move for Stack Attacker. They're going for Gyro Ball. I'm like, do you not have Trick Room? Oh, because I've had that happen where you get a Stack Attacker that doesn't have Trick Room, so the second Liquidation is going to take it out. I'm like, what luck that I have Sticky Webs out, you have the slowest Pokemon there is, and you don't have Trick Room. That just sucks. So he sends out Noctowl. Noctowl, you can't... There's a lot of Pokemon from Gen 2 that just get underestimated. Noctowl, Lantern, Quillfish. You know, Noctowl can be kind of scary sometimes. So he's going for Air Slash. Thankfully, I didn't get Flinch the first time, so I did get a Liquidation off before I go down to the second Air Slash. So I'm like, all right, not the worst start to a battle. So I sent in my Mew. The great thing about Mew is you never know what it's going to have. In this case, it's Ice Beam, but look how fat Noctowl is. I'm like, what does this thing have? Like, it must be holding some, it must have a Assault Vest on. So they Whirlwind out to Swalot, then they Roost. I'm like, I went for Sludge Bomb. I don't get the poison. This Noctowl is gaining health rather than losing it. We're going in the opposite direction. I get up on another Sludge Bomb, still not poisoning him. So this is just terrible. I really need to get rid of this thing. And then they randomly swap back to Hitmonchan. So I'm like, what is this? So I had actually swapped over to Mew, so we both went for a swap that turn. Mine made sense. I don't know what theirs was. So I'm going to go for Psyshock. The Hitmonchan just barely takes that. They go for Rapid Spin. That's why they did that. But it's like, why didn't you wait until... Like, why didn't you just leave Noctowl out? It was doing so well. So Hitmonchan's going to go down here. So Bop Boop Beepy's done. So Quillfish, I gotta actually speed this up a little bit. So Quillfish comes out and intimidates my Mew. I think, Mew is often a mixed set anyway. I decided to hit him with Psyshock. He's not going to take that well. He goes for Thunder Wave. That's going to paralyze me, but he gets paralyzed too because of Synchronize, and the second Psyshock's going to take him down. So there you go. So Latios comes in, Mega Evolves into Mega Latios. They go for Draco Meteor. My Mew just takes that pretty well, all things considered. I went for Ice Beam. It does pretty good damage, and I get a Freeze Hacks for the win, you guys. So I'm just going to continue with Ice Beam because, Freeze Hacks, and I'm getting health back for my leftovers, and, everything's titties and beer here. So this is, look, I'm back at great health. So Arcanine comes in, intimidates me, now my attack's down even further. I'm like, I gotta swap. So I send in Hydreigon. They're going to take the Flare Blitz really well, and to the point where they barely took any recoil damage. I go for Extreme Speed. Oh, they go for Extreme Speed. I went for Dragon Pulse. And I went for another Dragon Pulse. They went for Will-O-Wisp. That sucks. I didn't want to get burned like that, but All right, so the next extreme speed, it seems to be doing less damage each time they use it. The next Dragon Pulse is going to take down the Doggo, and the last Pokemon is the Noctowl that I've been having so much problem with. And they're going to Air Slash my Hydro Gun down, but this thing's down to 14% health now, 20% with the leftovers. I send in the creepiest Pokemon there is and go for Ice Punch. Bop boop BB's done. I'll see you guys more with hopefully soon with newer matches, but I've been having rough luck lately, so we'll see you soon.